Hi, and welcome in or welcome back. Today I'm going to collect all 16 armor trims, 16 full sets of enchanted netherite armor, and get enough diamonds to set up an armory to display one of each set here in this room. It's a busy one, so let's get into it. The first thing we have to do is collect these 4 axolotls. We'll have plenty to do with them in the future, but right now they're in the way. Next I need to expand this room to get it ready to become our armory. I want it to be a fairly dimly lit, moody room with these gray stone walls, so we'll need to add a dark floor and ceiling to pull it all together. And I'll definitely need to fill in bits of the ground as well, since we built this room originally over a few caves, as you can see. Unlike most of my episodes that have focused on farm building and then one aesthetic build to grow our Fantasy Age and spawn area, today's going to be a much grindier episode for me, although I hope we can sort that out for you. In the end, I'll need over 250 ancient debris and over 800 diamonds to pull this off. I also need to find the remaining 8 trims that I haven't yet discovered, including some of the hardest ones to get like Ward, Tide, and the 4 Trail Ruin trims. While I'm designing this room, I have to include this staircase that will eventually lead down to where I want to put our automated storage. Over the first 7 episodes, I've collected a few trims as I've explored our world. To catch you up, I've found Silence in the first ancient city, Coast in many shipwrecks, and last episode also got the Netherite template. I found Wild early on in a jungle temple, Spire as I did my end raiding, and Rib in my very first fortress chest. Dune came from our local desert and mesa, and I from the Stronghold library. So let's lay out those in the item frame so we can visually see what's left to do. What I still need is Snout from a bastion, Tide from killing an Elder Guardian, Ward from an ancient city, and Vex from a mansion. While I do have a mansion very close to my base, I've already checked most of it and I'm 99% sure there's no Vex inside. I don't want to burn it down if I don't have to just to find out, so we'll try and find one elsewhere. And finally I'll need these 4 trail ruins to complete the set. I started my search for Tide, the Elder Guardian trim, at our local Dragon Egg drop project. I want these Elder Guardians dead anyways, and maybe I'll get lucky here. With my trident, some milk, and a few doors, and the confidence that only an idiot would have, I went in. The one in the top room here is always the easiest Elder Guardian to find, so I thought I'd start there. Unfortunately, he did not drop an armor trim, but I did get mining fatigue, and in between most elders I killed today, I'd have to run away and get more milk. A shulker of this would have been smart, but, well, you know, I said I'm an idiot. The other 2 elders are in the wings of the monument, not that hard to find either. Unfortunately, they weren't in a giving mood. Except mining fatigue, they loved giving me that. My luck's been really good in this series, so with 1 Elder Guardian left in the monument before I had to move on, I thought surely this would be the one. It was not. I did find a few sponge rooms doing this, so that's always nice for other projects. No trims though. After coming up empty, I did consider burning this mansion down, but it is really close to my base, so I've checked every chest I could find in here, and I'm pretty sure there's no trim inside. After clearing it out a bit more and deciding not to be an arsonist this close to home, I did move on to looking for another trim, but I did feel like I was already 0 for 2 today. One trim that should be fairly easy to find is Snout. With a 1 in 12 chance of spawning and bastions having plenty of chests, this one shouldn't take long. I decided to start with the bastion I had already mostly cleared since I haven't checked all of the chests there. The tower side has a number of chests, some of which you can see from here. And these first 2 were busts, probably some of the worst bastion chests I've ever seen in my life. This double chest that I found under the lava though was much nicer with some netherite scrap, gilded blackstone, and our first trim of the day, which is Snout. That's 1 out of the 8 we need. After that, it was time to adventure a bit. I can't pass up the chance to find more goodies, so even though I already have Sentry, which is the outpost trim, I always check. I'm not even here for this monument, we'll come back to that in a minute. Elder Guardian should have already dropped me that trim, so I'm a bit put off of that one. In episode 6, I built a gold farm. If you review the video during the overworld section of the build, you can see a trail ruin in the jungle below me. I actually didn't see it until I was editing the video, and by then it was too late to check it out. This is the overworld side of the gold farm, and I've never taken on a trail ruin, so let's get into it. I just can't see it yet. My first job here is to protect myself in the jungle. Mobs spawn way too frequently in here to mess with, so I'm going to light it up pretty well. Trail ruins kind of need to be taken from the top down without skipping much. All the goodies are found in suspicious gravel, and if it falls because you broke the block below it, you can never get back what was inside. So I'm going to be really careful in this structure because finding 4 unique trail ruins is already a challenge. I don't want to have to find another ruins. Dusting and cleaning these ruins takes quite a while. I think in real time I was at this structure for about an hour. You can get trims, pottery shards, as well as candles, dyes, pots, emeralds, coal, and way more stuff. As I said when we got sniffers, I don't really have trouble seeing these suspicious blocks, but if you do, the gravel has a slightly darker center you can see here. Alright, I'm going to get into this. I'll come back when we're nearly done. So it's been about an hour and I've nearly cleared this entire trail ruins. Thankfully, with a few blocks of suspicious gravel left, I was able to find the fourth and last of the trail ruins armor trims. This was the last one I needed here. You can see just how big these structures are as I run back to the storage near where I started. As much as I didn't really want to do this, in the end I actually had kind of a little bit of fun. But in the end I pulled 9 trims, 11 sherds, and lots of mud brick from this trail ruin, as well as 2 of the new music discs. So it's just Tide, Vex, and Ward now. So it's back to that ocean monument that we spotted on the way to the trail ruin. At this point I've killed 6 Elder Guardians, and 1 in 5 is meant to drop the trim. Those are good odds. Surely that means this is where I'll get Tide, right? Nope. And not this one either. Nor this one. Next monument, please. Wasn't this one either. Let's try it with looting. Wasn't that one either. Good try though. Nope again. After a few more monuments, I lost track of how many Elder Guardians I'd actually killed, but statistics said 15. To be honest, by this point I was kinda losing hope, and then this Elder Guardian dropped it for us. Let's head home and regroup. So now with Snout, Tide, Razor, Wayfinder, Shaper, and Host, we only have 2 trims remaining, Vex and Ward. I don't have a cartographer villager and I didn't feel like making one, so what that meant was aimless flying day and night until we found a new mansion. I looted shipwrecks and ruined portals, found some cool open lush and dripstone caves, and even a cherry biome that made me think I'd gone the wrong way and back to spawn. Oh look, it's a birch and oak forest at the base of a flat cherry plateau overlooking a river. Never seen that before. Thankfully, mansions aren't as uncommon as they used to be, so I spotted this dark oak forest and headed straight for it, and behind the hill I spotted a new mansion. Yes, I am 200 blocks away flying directly at it with a flint and steel. Don't judge me, I just know what I want.
Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
So this is a bit of a shortcut, but this is hardcore and I can't be bothered fighting off Vexes in small corridors today, so let's just burn it down. Actually, let's burn everything, including me apparently. As this opens up, I can find all the enemies inside and safely ping them with my bow from far away. Eventually the fire will pull back enough that I can go inside and start picking the chests apart freely. A lot of the chests inside the mansion, especially the storage rooms, are always empty. The first and second one just had low quality enchanted axes. And chests don't burn, so you can basically let the mansion completely demolish itself if you want. I felt like heading in and finishing this one off. That's 3 crappy axes. I don't know which room this chest would have been in originally, but floating chests like this are often from the tops of tall rooms and have a lot of loot. In this case it had the Vex and that's all I need, so let's head home. It took me ages to find a second mansion, and then I found a third while flying home. Not gonna lie, this feels like an act of aggression against my sanity, so I didn't let it stand. This became pillagers roasting on an open fire. I'm fine. What do you mean? Back at home, we can drop off the Vex trim, and we have just 1 left to find. Spoiler alert, it wasn't easy. For all the people who are a little upset with how easily I found the silence trim, Ward had your back. So let's get a little shulker together with some wool, night vision potions, and go ancient city hunting. Ancient cities are actually easy-ish to find in Java Minecraft. There's a stat in the F3 screen that shows the erosion directly below you. When the erosion is at a certain level, you're standing over either a dripstone cave, large lush cave, or an ancient city. If the biomes nearby are one of the new peaks biomes or a grove, chances are it's the ancient city. You do sometimes miss, but it's relatively predictable once you know what you're doing. The number I'm looking at is the one on the line with noise router that says E, and the lower it gets, the better. This is around what I want. The mountain biome's a good sign, so we can try again here next. If I'm confident about it, I like digging a 2x2 hole all the way down. It's easy to fly out if I somehow mess up greatly and have to see a warden. Seeing a massive dripstone cave on the way down was disappointing. It's always possible that the erosion I saw in the noise router was just this, but I kept going. I heard a sensor and then dug toward that when I heard it. Well, we're here, it's time to get to work. I think I've been through every chest in this whole city, and I didn't find a single armor trim of either kind. So I found another good erosion option, mined my way down, and right on top of a new city. Would you like the short version this time? So I found silence in this chest, set off a shrieker here, found another silence in this chest, somehow set off another shrieker here, set off a third while opening a chest, and then with this one heard the scariest sound in all of Minecraft. I flew to the safety at the top of the portal and then found our new friend. Did you know in my life I've never killed a warden? When they came out, my world wasn't advanced enough to dare. So everyone got their kills in before I was ready or able. I've never killed a... okay. Was it glorious? No. Was it respectable? Heck no. Would I consider that an example of a sick way to kill the warden? Absolutely not. But the scoreboard still says Rad 1, Warden 0. No ward in that city or the next one either though, so I guess that's karma. This is overall Ancient City number 5, now with the new Lush Cave decor. The best part of finding ancient cities that are overrun with dripstone or lush caves is they're generally fairly skulk and shrieker free, though they can spawn mobs. I saw a few chests I could reach with absolutely no danger though. With the warden cooldown reset from going home to refresh on potions and wool, and no skulk to be seen, I flew around a bit in the city, and here, after more than 4 cities and more than 100 chests, I found my first ward trim. Let's go complete our collection. And now comes the hard part. In order to make 64 trimmed pieces of enchanted armor, I need to duplicate most of the trims 4 times. I also need to duplicate the netherite trim 64 times. That means I'm going to need 256 ancient debris and around 800 diamonds to complete today's plan. Let's check our current stocks. We have 8 diamond ore in the house, that made 15 diamonds, and now including our past diamonds, we have nearly 2 stacks. We need 12 stacks, and 4 stacks of debris. Oh boy. Down at the tunnel bore I found another 28 diamond ore in the chest from a previous mining trip. I didn't need them then, but I sure do now. That earned me another full stack of diamonds, so I'm going to run this tunnel bore quite a bit, collect the diamonds, and store as much of the other stuff as I can. I always need redstone, but I also love to build with deep slate tuff, and of course doing this we blew up our way across a whole amethyst geode. If you don't remember or you haven't seen the episode, I have 12 of these tunnel bores set up. How long did I run this? Well, this long. I cleaned out the iron farm, used the tunnel bore, and came back to 17 stacks of iron ingots. That's a good couple hours. I also want to say that right now, adding all these extra villagers was so necessary and so good. I trade every chance I get now, and I'm finally accumulating some redstone. I would really hate to waste that all in one project next episode. Several runs later, and I found another 24 ore. It's not a lot, but it's a start. I know you guys want to see how and when everything happens, so I've also added shears to my honey farm, so I could start collecting the honeycomb. I'm going to need candles and wax copper soon, so I started early and gathered way too much. I also needed a mental break from the diamond hunting, so let's see what gunpowder we have, make some TNT, and go find us those 4 stacks of ancient debris. After burning through all of the TNT I had, I burned through both netherite pickaxes, often stopping to repair on quartz. These 2 stacks, plus what I already have, should be enough. I'm very tired of being in the nether, so let's head out. I'm gonna miss these 200 levels when they're gone. Okay, I'm home and we can smelt the debris down. Then after that, we'll be able to pull them out, add a bit of gold to them, and boom, when they're added to what we already had, a full stack plus 6 netherite ingots. But I still need diamonds. Remember when diamonds weren't valuable anymore because you could buy diamond gear from villagers and netherite was the best stuff in the game? You'd think almost 9 stacks would be enough for anyone. Speaking of buying diamond gear, after buying 16 helmets, chest plates, leggings, and boots over the next couple of days from villagers, it was time to start putting the trim sets together. I've also started enchanting them, and yes, completely ran out of levels. In fact, we're going to have to take the rest of this to the XP farm. Enchanting 64 pieces of gear and combining multiple books to make each piece is apparently kind of expensive. Now that I'm up here though, I can just get the minimum levels I need, pop out, use the anvil, and repeat the process for every piece of gear. I know I don't have to enchant these armors with real enchantments just to display them, but every set of armor will be pretty good. It's going to have mending, unbreaking, and protection 4 to start. Helmets will have respiration, boots will have feather falling. I never thought I'd blow through 200 levels as fast as I did, but the helmets alone took 19 levels per helmet to enchant. That was 304 levels for just one piece of the gear. The best part is, once I get done with helmets, I get to do the other 3 pieces. So yeah, I spent over 1200 levels doing enchanting, in one episode. Side note, do you know how many anvils it takes to enchant this much gear? More than one, I promise you that. While I go through this, let me say this. I've already spent more time on this episode than any episode of the series so far. If you're enjoying it, you already know what to do. By the end of this episode, I'll have survived 820 days. My main goal has always been to have one of the best and most overpowered worlds at 1,000 days into the game. After today, we'll have 180 days left, and I already know how I plan to use it. My goal is to release 2 more episodes to take us to day 1,000. After that, this world will be played quite a lot more often. I'm going to be streaming this world over on my Twitch. I'm going to load up all the farms, AFK them a bit to stock up on all the resources we build, and then we'll continue the next 1,000 days playing over there as well. I'll still have the episodes here, but the making of them will occur over on Twitch, so be sure to check it out. Let's turn these diamond armor sets into Netherite. This is where we're going to blow through some of our diamonds. Check it out. 3 templates will become 6, 6 will become 12, 12 will become 24. On and on I go until I have them all duplicated. When I'm done duplicating the Netherite templates alone, I'm left with just 2.5 stacks of diamonds from our original 9 stacks. That's a lot of diamonds gone all at once. I'd normally skip through this or show you 1 or 2 of these and then cut, but it's really just too satisfying. Yeah, I don't know, there's just something really satisfying about this. So I now have 16 sets of enchanted netherite armor, and all are very usable if I needed or wanted to just pick one up and run with it. I also want to keep 1 of every trim, so I always have 1 to duplicate. That means I need to have 4 of every trim in this shulker to complete the project. The ones in the item frames essentially don't count. You can see I already have 4 of several trims, 2 of others, but some I don't have any more of, so I'm going to need to make all 4. Oh yeah, and I have 19 coast trims, of course. Duplicating trim templates like the netherite one costs 7 diamonds per trim. Let's spend all the diamonds we currently have. Well, I have 3 diamonds left and I still need 19 templates. That's not good. I feel like I've spent half my life down here today. It was a bit sad to cut through this geode with the boar, but I'm sure we'll find more and better locations than directly in the path of the boar as well. I saved the lower half by covering it each time. Okay, that was another long round of diamond collecting, and yes, I need a bigger and better tunnel bore, but this is what I've collected. It had better be enough this time. I need just over 2 stacks of diamonds. And I have 3 stacks. Yes, it's enough. Let's go finish the armory. That's it. With 60 diamonds left over, we are now done. It's time to make armor sets. Oh no. I just remembered I want to put a trim on the set I wear. I forgot about that. I'm going to use Silence with Gold as it's the most yellow and orange, which matches my skin and my brand. It also looks like I'm on fire all the time, and given my history of standing in lava until I almost totem, this is fine. I like the fireball look. Alright, take a look at it. I love Silence because it has the most going on. I know it's a very busy trim, but that's what I like about it, all the detail. I know a lot of you prefer a simpler trim, or maybe less bright, bold colors, but this is my favorite. What's your favorite armor trim combination? About 90% of the time, I'm actually wearing Elytra, and this is how it looks with the Elytra on. I think it matches even better. Okay, making my own personal trim was fun, but let's finish making the rest. For the armory, I'm putting copper on every trim combination. Copper's the most orangey color we have as a whole. Gold is great, but in simpler trims it's very, very yellow, to the point where I don't think it's a good fit for me. Silence is the only gold trim that has a lot of orange in it. Redstone's too red for me, so I'm kinda stuck with this orangey material copper. I do admit on enchanted items it looks a little pinkish, but I think that's good, a lot of people won't use it, so that just makes it mine. All mine. Once I finish applying the trims to the armor, the next step is to work on this room. What I want is a somewhat dark, almost secret lair vibe. Something that makes you feel like when you came into the pagoda you had no idea it was there, but secretly these armor sets were waiting here the whole time. This has been our first real adventure day in the new world, and I've really enjoyed it. I had no idea the project was going to be this much grinding though, and we spent a lot more time on this than I would have liked, but the end result should be worth it. And yes, I saved ward until last, it made sense. As usual by this point of an episode, I've talked quite a lot, so let me explain this, then I'll come back when the work is done. I need to make the armory 2 blocks taller and then fix the outer wall so it still matches. Then I'm going to put 16 armor stands in here on small pedestals to display each trim. I want to put the single copy of each trim on the wall in the back and keep this whole area pretty dark looking without being dimly lit, so I'll need to bring in a darker color. I'm going to let the original 4 sniffers go out through the back door so they can roam free around spawn and do whatever they want. Okay, let's build the armory. There it is, 16 enchanted netherite armor sets, each with its own copper trim. This has been a lot of fun to do, adventuring to basically every structure, finding all of the rarest trims, and even the grind of ancient cities and monuments was all worth it for this. I'm getting close to 1,000 days in this world, so next episode we're going to tackle a huge project that I'd love to have done by then. Auto storage for every item in the game. You won't want to miss that one, so I'll see you then. Goodbye.